guys, in the fast lane here. Today we're going to be changing out an AC dryer, compressor, and belt for a Honda Civic 97 LX. Now before you start this job, you need to take your vehicle down to a local shop, have them evacuate the system of refrigerant. You can purchase all the parts for this video underneath the description. It'll say shop this video. If you're on my website, it'll say shop this video underneath the video. We're going to go ahead and remove the 3 bolts on our cruise control. You got one here, here, and right down there. Next, go ahead and remove this vacuum line right here. Just simply pull it off, disconnect this clip, and take off the throttle cable. Go ahead and take the 10mm off of this ground wire. Set that aside. Now go ahead and get a flathead, shove it in this clip right here on the power steering reservoir. Push in and turn out. It'll open up the clip, and then you can just pull this out and we can set it aside. Now that we got the power steering reservoir over here, you can slightly bend the line a little bit. Don't put too much, but it's a steel line. It's not really going to hurt it too much. Now we can get to this dryer right here. And we got 2 10mm on this high side lines, and then we got to remove this high pressure switch, and then you have a 10mm right here that holds this whole thing in place. But first, remove these lines. And then go ahead and pull up on these lines, just like that. Same thing with this one. There they are, they're nice and loose, and you can just move them out of the way just a little bit to get this dryer. Take this switch off, like that. So now what you want to do is you want to take these lines and gently bend them to the left. Bend them to the left, leave them like that. Now you need to keep this turned a little bit at an angle and just pull it straight out. What you want to do before you remove this bracket right here is you want to take the new dryer and you want to orientate it in the right direction. Where this pressure switch, we're going to have to take this off and put it right here. So line it up with the bracket and make some marks where this guy's going to go. So it's pretty much right about, I'd say, there. Now put a black marker here and a black marker here, and we're going to slide this one in the same position, the same height as this. So we're going to mark the bracket. I'm going to go get a marker and I'll mark it and show you here in a second. Just kind of eyeball it. That's going to be the middle. This will be the top. So now we'll take this bracket off and put it right here, right where this part is. It's going to go right here. First, put your foot on it, get yourself a crescent wrench. And we got to take off this high pressure switch. Now kit, I'll put all the links in underneath the video. We're going to change out this O-ring right here before we put it on the new one. Now get an O-ring removal tool, just slide it right in there. Take the new one, go ahead and take this bolt out. Comes with a new O-ring. But I'm going to go ahead and put a newer one on because this one's been flattened pretty good. So go ahead and put the new one on. Make sure you put it like this. Don't put it on the high pressure switch first. Put it on the actual dryer. And then make sure the O-ring's in there good. Go ahead and hand tighten it. And then give it one more tight with the crescent wrench. We're just going to go ahead and loosen this bracket. We don't need to completely take it all off. It's an 8mm. And then once we get it loose, we'll go ahead and slide it off and slide the other one in the same position as this one. Next, the mark we did earlier, we're just going to slide it down. Right like that. Just line the marks up. And go ahead and tighten up the 8mm. Okay, so in order to remove this AC compressor, first step is you're going to come over here. If you look down here, I got the wrench on the pulley. This pulley right down here, you have to put a 14mm wrench on it. So put the wrench on it, and you get it from underneath the vehicle. You just crack it loose. You don't take it completely off because the pulley goes in and out, and that nut pretty much locks that pulley in. Underneath the vehicle, if you can see, that's where you want to put the wrench. The easy way to break this off is pretty much just double up 2 wrenches, and you're going to push it forward. That's it. Next step, we're going to go ahead and loosen the pulley. And if you have a belt, this belt snapped off, but if you do have a belt, this is how you remove the belt. You get your socket down in there on top of the pulley. It's a 10 millimeter. Go ahead and bust off the 2 high and low side AC lines on the compressor. Right here you got 2 10s, you got one there, and then another 10 in the back side. Now for this job, you're going to get a 10 millimeter swivel socket, 6-point, because these are angled just a little bit. Now go ahead and remove the high side first so you can get the swivel socket on the low side. Now go ahead and take the high side off and just pull it straight up once you get the nut out. Now we're going to take off the AC compressor. To do so, you got 2 12 millimeter bolts. You have one here, one there, and there's 2 more on the bottom. Easiest way to break nuts off again is just lock in 2 wrenches together, just like that. Push it forward. Alright, so go ahead and undo that clip real quick before you drop the compressor down. You're going to push in on one side and pull up, just like that. Now that you got that wire off and all 4 of these bolts out, you're just going to drop it straight down, just like that. Alright, so once you get the compressor out, what you want to do is you want to take the bolts out. Just take them out, stick one in the position above it, just like this. And then you can put it in. You have to have the bolts in the compressor first because they're too long to actually sneak them in once the compressor is underneath the vehicle. Now most compressors, it'll say right here, has PEG oil in the compressor, so you don't have to put any oil in this system. Now we're going to put the AC compressor, the new one, from underneath. You just want to get the compressor underneath the car, and you want to get one bolt started. So you're going to lift it. And get one bolt started. You have 2 12s, you have a 12 there, and then there's a 12 right here on the side. Loosen those, and you can slide the power steering up and down to loosen this belt and slip it off so we can get the AC belt on. You can see there's no motor mount right here. They took it off in the beginning. So basically what you'd have to do is you'd have to take out those 2 bolts that hold on the motor mount and let it drop down a little to get the new belt up and over. Okay, now what you're going to do that you loosen the power steering is you're going to take the belt, slip it up over, take the new belt and slide it up under power steering onto the pulley part where it needs to go for the AC. And then you slide it up over where the motor mount is, pretty much like this. I'm trying to hold the camera and do it. So you get the idea like this, then over the compressor, then put the power steering belt back on and then tighten them both up. This is what you're looking at. Make sure your AC belt goes up above the pulley and then your power steering goes right there. That's the way you want it. Now right before you go ahead and tighten up the side of that pulley, you stick your socket down in there and you're going to go ahead and tighten it until you can bend your belt 180 degrees. So here's how you check the tension. You grab the belt and you want to be able to put it halfway, 180 degrees. So right there, that's a good belt. If you can go way all the way around, then that's too loose. But this one, a little bit stressed to get it halfway, that's perfect. Last step, once you got the belt tightened, you're going to come under here, put it on the 14, and we're going to tighten this 14 nut on this pulley so that it locks in and it can't loosen. Alright, after you get that on, now go ahead and slip up the belt for the power steering. Just like that. You can push the power steering forward to get it on. And then all you're going to do is put a screwdriver down in here at an angle right there. Pull the power steering forward and tighten up these 2 12s on the back side. Go ahead and get a flathead in here, right like this. Pull back and then tighten it up. Next, we're going to go ahead and slide this dryer down in here. You're going to want to turn it so the back bracket faces the side of the driver's side. And then you just set it down like that. Put the 10mm in, and then we got to get the clip for the high side and put it on. Put the pressure switch in after you went ahead and put the 10mm on. Go ahead and take these O-rings off and replace them with new ones. Next, go ahead and take the plugs off of the dryer. Take the lines and slide them down over the ports. You get your volt started. You might have to do just a little bit of bending to get in the right position. Next, go ahead and grab the compressor line, and you got the plug to the chassis. Just go ahead and plug it in. Go ahead and put the ground wire on. Next, go ahead and take these caps off the AC compressor. You got 2 10s. A little bit of pressure in there, but that's good. That's what you want to hear. It means the compressor's working. It's holding pressure. Now we're going to take the O-rings off, the high and low side. Now we're going to go ahead and put the new O-rings on. Next, put the low side on first. It's the fatter line. Get your 10mm started down in there, because you'll have a problem getting to the 10mm if you put the high side on first. Alright, so go ahead and put the high side line on, just like this. Push it down in there. Get the 10 on there and tighten it down. Go ahead and take the power steering reservoir and just slide it right down in this bracket. Just like that. You got the little clip right here that we took off. Slide that back in there. Push down on it. Now we're going to take the cruise control. Set it down like this. You got 10mm here, here, and right here. We got the vacuum hose. Put that on real quick. Another vacuum line. Goes right here in the front. Put your power clip in, or the control clip. Till it clips. Put your throttle cable right in here. That's it.